Hi, my name is Daniel Voth, and this is my Google slide presentation for AEP 803 Educational Action Research Module 1. About me, my name is Daniel Voth, and I teach at Dodge City High School. This is my fourth year back at Dodge City High School. I started my career here right after college, and I spent 12 years in Topeka, and I came back 4 years ago. I grew up in Cimarron, Kansas, so this is back home for me. I have taught social studies for 18 years. However, I have decided to make a change. I will be teaching PE as well as strength and conditioning starting in the fall of 2021. And I coach football and baseball at DCHS and I'm currently coaching Demon Pride, which is summer weights with all athletes, as well as my son's T-ball team, which has been pretty interesting going from high school baseball to the little tykes on the T-ball field. It's been a lot of fun. My family. I am married and my wife's name is Adriana. We have two sons, Andres Jack, we call him AJ, who just turned 6, and Axel, we call him Axel, who was 1. Life is fast and furious with little time to sweat the small things. We are truly blessed, and you can see the pictures of my family, myself, my wife, and my sons. I'm getting into the content of the assignment. What is action research? The purpose of action research, from what I gathered, is to take a more careful look at situations in our classrooms to change the way we as teachers may be doing our jobs in order to benefit all of our students. And I like this quote from the Handbook of Exploratory Action Research. It was pretty early on, but it grabbed my attention. It said the collection of additional information is important and is needed for understanding a situation better, in greater detail, and from different perspectives. We all know in education that if we attack problems from one side or challenges from one side, oftentimes we are not as thorough in coming up with solutions to those challenges or problems as we could be. And I just like the idea of gathering information so we can gather conclusions from all perspectives, so we have a better chance of being thorough with the conclusions that we come up with from our data. I keep hitting that button. The 4 types of action research, I kind of struggled when finding these. I don't understand completely these things, but I do understand. I feel like what we've been reading about was participatory action research, where teachers and educators are participating within the research to come up with solutions to challenges within their own classrooms. Number 2 is critical action research. I came up with action science, and then appreciative inquiry. And you can read about those things within the pictures that I've listed there. The goal of action research, I came up with several goals. I got kind of lengthy. I don't think there is one specific goal of action research other than figuring out answers to the problems that we may have within our classrooms. The goal of action research is to solve problems. In this case, to solve problems within our classrooms by addressing specific problems within our own districts and or buildings. And that'll get in when we talk about the differences between traditional research and action research. That will make more sense. The goal continued: as teachers, we should pose a question, a doubt, problem, or a challenge. We need to come up with strategies that will help gather data about the posed challenge and reflect on that data, and then make decisions on our own next course of action. Oftentimes we make decisions that's not based in data. At least I do. I need to be more intentional when I'm gathering data as I'm making adjustments to activities and strategies within my classroom. Also, another goal of action research is to determine whether or not classroom content assessments are authentic. I kind of appreciated the material that talked about um, creating authentic assessments within your content, finding real world applications for what is being taught and what is being learned within your classrooms. That's something that I struggle with. Um, I'm not sure why, but I have worked on those things. As in social studies, we've been allowed to create our own state assessments, and I think I have come up with a pretty good activity as far as a document-based question and teaching that, and the process that goes into it with my students. Action research versus traditional research. Traditional research studies are often conducted by outside institutions and published in peer-reviewed journals, as action research is usually done by teachers or specialists, other educators working within a district or school where those challenges or those problems exist. The simple way that I think about that is in action research, you take action as a teacher. Traditional research is kind of generalized, and those conclusions are posted in peer reviewed journals, oftentimes for reading, but not a lot of action as far as teachers being involved in the actual problem within their classrooms. Says who conducts the research? Traditional research conducted by university professors, scholars, and graduate students. Action research is conducted by teachers and principals on students in their care. Whereas the research conducted, traditional research is conducted in environments where variables are able to be controlled. And action research, that research happens within our own schools and classrooms. How is the research conducted? In traditional research, using quantitative methods to show to some predetermined degree of statistical significance a cause and effect between relationships and variable. How is research conducted in action research? Using qualitative methods to describe what is happening and to understand the effects of some educational intervention. Why is the reason traditional research is done? To report and publish conclusions that can be generalized to larger populations. And action research is to take action um, and affect positive educational change in the specific school environment that was studied. I like the whys. If I can understand the whys of why certain things are done or how certain things are done, um, and make that relationship to myself understandable, I think it's easier to be able to conduct that kind of research. Problems associated with action research, I think, in the world of education uh, can be time consuming. There's content commitments that we're always constantly worried about. I know, for example, in my social studies classes, I always have a hard time getting to where I need to get um, without doing any kind of normal or added research within my classroom. The urgency to complete the project, once again, I think that goes back to time. We want to take um, our research project and we want to get it done. And sometimes just getting it done isn't effective. We need to do it the right way. And relationship versus data boundaries, and that's something that I've struggled with before in the past is keeping that data confidential and not sharing data because of the relationship or relationships that I've built with students within my classrooms. My current teaching practices, I believe my current practices of teaching are based in action research. However, that action research was not necessarily conducted by myself. I also conduct informal action research by adjusting lessons and improving upon activities as needed. I've taken many strategies from many professional development opportunities that fit my style, so I may be comfortable addressing the needs of my students so that all may have the opportunities to succeed. And a critique of what I've found through the reading, or the things that I thought of while I was reading about action research and understanding the concept. I appreciate its place in the world of education. However, with as much that is on the plates of today's teachers, the process of conducting a thorough research project seems overwhelming. I feel like districts, especially the one I am in, conduct action research without letting teachers really know that is what is happening. Districts have also hired positions where that is the duty of the specialist of conducting action research, and teachers take part in the experiment. For example, USD 443 was awarded link grant money to improve literacy throughout the district, and teachers have been going through professional development to learn the strategies within the program. The specialist duty is to teach those strategies to teachers who are on the process of gathering data within their classrooms to reach conclusions. Personally, I have been involved in an action research project for a school district that I've worked for in the past. Besides what I mentioned before on the last slide, I was part of a committee that helped bring the AVID program to the district I formerly taught. The committee was trained in the strategies within the program that district leadership felt fit our student population. It was our responsibility, or the committee's responsibility, to take what we learned and include them within our own classrooms, as well as help teach those strategies to teachers in order to have those strategies used school-wide. It was quite the process, and I believe the program is still being used in that school district. It's pretty successful. I still use a lot of the strategies within my current classroom, even though my current school district is not a part of the AVID program. The strategies have been found to be effective through my own action research project, which I call that project by going through the training and then having to teach those strategies to my fellow teachers, colleagues. Course learning outcomes. This submission correlates to each one of the standards selected for the assignment by using technology to introduce ourselves as well as demonstrate our knowledge and understanding of action research. This is a thorough way to process a lot of material in a relatively short amount of time. The assignment is posted within a community online so that we may collaboratively discuss the topic with our classmates within the Currents community. This assignment also follows the curriculum created and or selected by Fort Hays State University, as well as the expectations set aside for us in the syllabus. It's relevant. This assignment is relevant in my current learning because it sufficiently introduces the concepts involved with action research. The materials provided sufficient knowledge to understand all processes involved within the concept of conducting action research within my classroom. The assignment improved my understanding of action research by making me summarize a sizable amount of information in a creative way, although it has taken me a while to complete the assignment as I do not create slide presentations very often. It has forced me to get out of my comfort zone and make an attempt at being creative, as well as making me thoroughly understand the concept so I can summarize the material in about 13 slides. My reflection: how will this assignment influence the decisions you will make as a future leader? This assignment will help influence the decisions I make in my classroom by helping me be more intentional when selecting or adjusting activities within the content of my classes. I have learned that I need to be cognizant of the data that I collect while using strategies and activities in my classroom, and take the next step in making honest conclusions about those strategies and activities so I can make solid decisions about the effectiveness of what I'm doing in my classroom and how I am teaching all students within my classroom. That's what I came up with. Hopefully that's sufficient enough to have some collaborative discussion. Thank you for listening. Thank you for reading. Thanks for your time.